this video, we're going to look at how you can create various question types in Microsoft Forms. So looking at creating multiple choice questions, text-based questions, and even using some of the embedded charts available in the forms. So here we are in Forms, and I've created a new form for a repeat prescription process. So I'm going to start by adding a new question. We'll look at the different question types that you have available. So first of all, you can have a multiple choice-based question. You can also have text-based questions, rating questions, date-based answers, the ability to use ranking, a Likert scale, a file upload, and a net promoter score. So I'm going to show a couple of the different question types as an example. So we'll start with a choice-based question. So here you can see it gives me the ability to ask my choice-based question. So I'm going to start with requesting the title. I'm going to give the options that they can complete or choose from. So Mr., Mrs., and adding in those different options. And I can add as many as I wish, and I can even add an other option. If I go into preview, you can see it displays those in a choice-based. Now, if I want that in a drop-down menu, I can edit the settings of that question to show a drop-down. So you can see there in the preview, it'll display them as a drop-down. So you have two different options for those choice-based questions. Next, we're going to request the names. So we're going to use some text-based questions. So first requesting the surname, and then the first name. Now, because these are going to just be short answers, we're going to just leave those questions as they are. But if we did need to add a longer based answer, we can choose to select long answer there. So I'm now going to request for the date of birth. So rather than using a text-based one where I might get multiple different options in terms of how they display the date, I'm going to use the date-based question so that I get the same format and the correct format for all of those date of births. I'm also going to be requesting a callback number. I'm going to use a text-based question for this. However, I'm going to restrict it to ensure that it's a mobile or household telephone number that I'm given and not words. So I'm going to use a restriction, and I'm going to set it to number so that the value must be a number, so it must be a telephone number. I'm also going to request to know the site location. Now, because this may not be self-explanatory what I mean by this, I'm going to go into the ellipses here and I'm going to add a subtitle. I'm going to explain what I mean. So adding in that extra detail to questions where you need to. Now you'll notice that Forms is quite intuitive, and it's saying actually that you could give an estimated time to complete for your form, and it suggests perhaps adding that. So I'm going to add that in as well, and you'll notice it tells them at the top, you will take approximately 4 minutes to complete this survey. So it can be really useful for the engagement in completing these online forms. And finally, I'm going to ask for their medication request, and I'm going to add in here a little description. And so I'm going to make it a long answer to give them the option to add additional detail. I'm just going to add a few additional question types now, just to show you as an example. So I could add in a rating score, and you can use stars or number ratings there, and if required you can add in labels to explain those. Could add in a ranking based question just to show you that gives you the options to rank your answers. Not necessarily appropriate here. A Likert based question. So if you were actually gathering feedback in terms of whether they agree with particular statements, so really good for patient feedback forms, you can add in those statements and the options there as well. file upload. Now, this may be relevant if you need your patients to maybe provide some form of identification evidence so they can upload, and you can actually specify the types of files, etc., that they can upload in there. And a net promoter score. So again, just giving you that basic score, how likely I recommend to a friend, and maybe we'll change the word colleague here to family member. So fully editable questions, lots of different question types, and gives you great flexibility in being able to create those digital online forms for all of your different needs across your practice. So hopefully those tips for various question types were useful.